And understandably, given the weather of the night, this might be the smallest crowd in the second half of a game at Autzen Stadium in probably 500 years. Logan's kick, and boy, we had a lot of those in this first half out of bounds. It'll be a 35-yard line spot for Cal.
Well, how about a game recap? D'Anthony Thomas early on, that roll of the ankle, that apparently what sent him to the lockers, and he didn't play the rest of the time, but Byron Marshall came up big after not being able to handle the ball well. 103 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. Turnovers, obviously, the big part of it. Cal did not respond well to the elements. And Marcus Mariota, 114 yards, 2 touchdowns, running the offense efficiently. And you see right there, the story of this game was weather, turnovers, and efficient play.
So Zach Klein hands off to Bigelow. Brendan Bigelow trying to use his speed, but Zach Klein gets away and gets that ball back.
Maybe get a better look at him sometime in better weather.
Tried that inside. All right, well, this is a play that Cal tried, and look at this. It actually is tipped and caught. Came out and threw a pass. This is Leininger. This is the punter. And Darius Powell ends up with the ball.
And tipped by a teammate.
Yeah. All right, Jack Folliards.
And you see the interior linemen, who are all have eligible numbers, but they're interior, they're downfield. And that is illegal men downfield.
Plays. Leininger does punt this one. Braylon Addison ran one back 75 yards in the first half. He's still going. He may go on this one. Cal has an angle on him. They can't get him. And Addison runs his second punt back tonight, and that was spectacular.
It does not go where planned, and he gets to the outside. Now he's got to make people miss. And what a great job. And then watch Eric Dargan, number 4 right here, get ahead of that guy. That's right. He gets ahead, and that's what springs the corner. They leverage the side.
67-yard return. He ran 157 yards to do it. But these are true Duck diehards that are still here tonight. Not many have stayed around for the second half on this wet night in Eugene, but they've just seen a little bit of history. Braylon Addison becoming only the second Oregon Duck to ever run 2 punts back in a game for a touchdown. Cliff Harris the other. And this kickoff coming into the field of play will be run back by Bryce Treggs. Cal's lost a couple of players.
It's easy to look at that score and forget that you were setting out to drain the swamp, you know, and now you're in it.
Legal substitution on the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty, replete third down. The 12th player did not get off the field prior to the snap.
And that's what Oregon, another thing they've excelled at. Boy, Klein, then he put some zip on that ball. So Leininger's punt. Fair catch taken this time by Addison. Braylon Addison tonight, first one 75. And then this one 67.
And one is break the daylight and great speed, and one is unbelievable vision and making people miss and picking up blocks down the field. He ran farther in those 2 punt returns than I've run since I retired.
Wow, Byron. I heard that. And I'll vouch for that. Byron Marshall still getting a chance to play here in the second half, as you see that. Player he was at USC. Marshall tried to get outside. He got hit there. It was the kind of
it stops maybe from going the distance.
Mario, Addison,
and of course the weather obviously has something to do with that tonight.
Marshall takes it for a first down to the California 20. Mariota Still trying to get that play. Well, he's thrown that 4 or 5 times tonight. Thomas Tyner now the running back. And Tyner, speed. Fits perfectly in Oregon. Touchdown. Wow, how familiar did that look? Let them use the wide side of the field and just run by everybody.
They like to pull their center and their right tackle, and it starts. You got to look at Fisher right here. He pulls out, the center pulls. They're going to get to the edge. They're going to leverage the edge, and they're going to win. And there's big Jake Fisher with the block. Great job, Tyner, setting the block with his pass, and he's gone.
Only carried 17 times in his first year. Different definition of chunk yardage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bryce Treggs gets out here and across the 20.
Look at the scoring that they put up. And we're only, as you said, Ted, we're barely into this third quarter.
Mark Helfrich, we haven't really touched on this yet tonight. I mean, this is different for him. Of course, first-time head coach. He's not even 40 years old. First time he's been on the sideline. He's been upstairs calling plays at all of his prior stops. And it's really special because he's from Oregon, Coos Bay, Oregon. He was recruited out of high school there as a potential walk-on player here at Oregon University, where his dad had played. Zach Klein and Jackson Busa could not hang on. Helfrich then started on his coaching tenure. His first job was here. Mike Maloney hired him as a GA. Dirk Cutter was here as well. And then he went to other places, Arizona State, Colorado, before coming back here. But what did we like? And I asked him this a little bit yesterday, and he admitted it's special to be an Oregonian coaching this team. Hasn't happened in a long time. At a point where the program is a national power, where this is becoming a destination for young players around the country.
Special, obviously, and the support that the entire state puts into this program, that much more to them, obviously. And of course, they have a way of doing things. They call it the Man of Oregon, or the Oregon way that they do things, that they're trying to establish that as their baseline of attitude, of performance,
30 seconds, timeout,
and their mentality of who they are.
The state has such pride in this program. That's why it has to resonate for an Oregonian now to be the head coach. And nobody was more supportive of Mark Helfrich than Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly was going to take the job last year at Tampa Bay, and he wanted Mark Helfrich to succeed him. When he did take the job finally with the Philadelphia Eagles this year, Oregon wasted no time and said, Mark Helfrich, you're the man. Cole Leininger hits the punt for Cal. No, a muff. Not a run back, but a muff. But it's been that kind of night for Oregon. Well, that is recovered by California. All right, so the muff indeed does cost possession.
Well, he fair catches, and as he's come off the ball, it hits him right in the chest.
What we talked about seems to be resonating here, Glenn, as the night's gone along and the weather's it's not as bad as it was. He's throwing the ball with more strike. You can see why he was a contender for the job. Blasco runs for a first down. Offensively, it's been far more quantity than quality.
Receiver went out of bounds. It came back in, was first to touch the ball. That is illegal touching. Loss of down.
We're going to get it right here, and we look at that. That foot was out of bounds prior.
And there, I thought that was going to be the touchdown. Klein thought he had it. Richard Rogers, but the breakup by Eric Dargan.
And a nice job by Eric Dargan. He's trailing. He knows the ball's coming in. He does a good job, and you even look at his helmet turns backwards but he just looks back. And he can see that ball and knock it out.
It looks like he's playing the receiver's hands, isn't he?
Yes, it appears that way.
He played the receiver's hands. Now to the other corner. And a fight for that ball, and a flag will be thrown on Ekpre Olumu.
Pass interference on the defense, number 14. Foul occurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball is placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
And here's another great look. And you see he was actually grabbing his arm as he was trailing and then got into him. And what they're calling was the grabbing of the arm while trailing and then putting your hand in his face without being able to see that ball.
And a starter still out there on the Oregon defense. And on third down, California scores its first touchdown. Jeffrey Copperidge. Long, wet night.
How about teams that average 80-plus plays a game? Look at back in 2011, just a couple years ago, nobody. And then all of a sudden the Wildcats and Ducks are doing it. And now, wow, 4 teams already averaging over 80. Where's it going to be next year? And, you know, if you think about it, football's about opportunities. If it's turnovers or opportunities, well, then more plays, more first downs, more opportunities. Yeah. You pick up the pace, you get more plays, you have more opportunities.
All right, Oregon has taken out Mariota tonight. Now Jeff Locke is in as quarterback.
From the Bay Area of California.
Thomas Tyner got upended in the open field. Yeah, he's got 7 tackles tonight. Coleman playing the middle of the D-line for Cal. Third down and long third here, and Tyner will make it and more. And you see that one of the things I was going to get to you about that discussion. What team was not in that list of 80 plays for this year?
For this year?
Yeah, Oregon. Quality. Because they score from outside on the field. They have big plays. And that's where I'm saying every team would love to do that. We all know that. But my point is that I think when we look at these things, we have to make sure we differentiate between quantity and quality.
And you and I have had covered some teams and where they have 90 to 100 plays of offense where they average 1 or 2 yards a play. And it's not quality football. You're right.
And so now this is a situation where Oregon is clearly a better team. Cal's run 67 plays tonight, and the average per play is 3.1. That's nowhere near a level that they would ever want to have.
And one of the things Nick Aliotti talked to us about was when you have 90 plays and you average giving up 3 yards a play, you give up a lot of yardage. You're never going to be statistically where you want, because that's just what we fight.
Now they're leaning over. Second man in is Scott Frost, who's a terrific college player, quarterback at Nebraska, played in the NFL. And he's now ascended. He was a position coach here on this staff, but now he's the offensive coordinator. He's gone to the headset to call plays. Berkeley, and they'll be able to use getting home and getting some support. Oregon had 12 men on the field. They made a late sub, and the 12th man didn't get to the sideline in time. So that'll be a penalty. That'll give Cal a first down. Cal's last home game, Glenn, in the Ohio State game.
Illegal substitution on the defense. The player was on the field at the snap, the 12th player. That's a 5-yard penalty, which results in a first down.
I tell you, this is the absolutely worst scenario if you're an offensive lineman. Running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers, yeah, they know right now, hey, we're down 55-10. But they know they can make plays and get some stats and help themselves out. Offensive linemen can do nothing other than lose worse than they're already losing right now. It's miserable for the big fellas.
I love you. That's a perspective that not many of us would have had. There's a flag at the end of the play here.
You get a little chippy on the O-line, and these guys, hey, they're upset because Oregon knows what they're going to do. They're going to pass the ball, and it's hard on them, and they get no reward. So they're a little ticked.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense, correction on the offense, number 58. The 15-yard penalty. It'll be third down.
It's 4th and 23, but Oregon did not get their man off the field in time.
There is no
weird stuff.
Penalty on the defense for illegal substitution. It was the 11th player who was running off the field. The play was legal.
Well, they're back with 2 tight ends now. One back, grind it.
And Jake Rodriguez now the Oregon quarterback. Tyner gets the handoff for a short gain. Jake Rodriguez we saw play quite a bit in the spring game here, and he's another Northern Californian. He's from Rockland, just outside of Sacramento. Red shirt. So 2 redshirt quarterbacks operating behind Mariota. So 15 minutes remaining on a night in Eugene where the Ducks have shown why they are number 2 in the land.
When I was a lot more dry, I took a tour of the Oregon Victory Stakes outside the stadium. They document Oregon's results in every game since 1967. We're starting from the most recent, going backwards. And the colors represent each game, and the yellow ones are when Oregon won, and the other colors are when the other team won. And we see the last time that Cal won here at Oregon was in 2007. We see that right there. And the Oregon alums who work for Nike came up with this idea for the stakes, and they helped design them. And they're pretty much brand new. They were put here this summer, right before the season, Ted.
All right, as we start the 4th quarter, Tyner with a big run gets out near midfield for Oregon. And there's so many new things like those stakes around here, but the biggest, newest thing of all, where we had our first chance to go yesterday, was the new Football Operations Center, which is, and if you're watching us, you've heard about it, I know, and you've probably seen some video online of it on Pac12.com. It's phenomenal. Here's Tyner. On a night when D'Anthony Thomas winds up not playing, Byron Marshall plays, and now Tyner, next in line behind Marshall, gets a decent amount of action. Mariota. The shocking speed touchdown Ducks.
How about that? He's one of the guys you star, circle, and put a spotlight on. Now that's the Oregon these fans have been waiting to see.
That's in the lobby of the football building. It's a visual display of the evolution of Oregon's football unis, and I would just die to see Glenn Parker in all white, baby.
You know,
that'd have been awesome.
Well, you see that area? That's why I don't wear white, because it tends to distort that area on me somehow. It makes it look bigger.
Tony Dungy's face on that card. His son is a wide receiver on this team, Eric Dungy. Talking about something crazy, Glenn. Oregon has had the ball 14 times tonight. 12 of those possessions have been in Cal territory.
Well, those turnovers early, certainly 5 turnovers. Look at that key stat. Holy cow. Hard to win a game on the road in bad weather doing that.
Jeff Locke back in as the Oregon quarterback, and a fumble as the ball was jarred from Bassett, the running back, and covered by Oregon. This is the first time tonight that Oregon has possessed the ball inside its own 20.
And good hustle by Johnny Mundt. That true freshman tight end hustles and jumps on that ball.
Be careful, be careful, be careful.
Treggs let that ball hit. And Cal will. Cody Carragher was the player that made that last tackle for Oregon. And Klein throws inside, and slithering his way free and scoring a California touchdown is James Grissom. Zach Klein getting some congratulations. That was his first touchdown pass as a college quarterback. And there's tonight's victory stake that's ready to... The Duck wouldn't be able to have anybody help him. There's only about 1,000 people left here at Autzen right now.
It'll be interesting to see where Sonny Dykes goes with this quarterback situation from here on out.
Yeah. That's the immediate story for California and the aftermath. So 2 first-year coaches.
Coach, 4 straight 50-plus point games. What message is your team sending to the college football landscape tonight?
I have no idea. We played well at the beginning. Our defense played lights out, turning the ball over, 5 times in the first half, and we didn't finish like we would like to, but certainly stuff to build on for the future.
What did you think of the way Byron Marshall stepped in and shouldered the load on the ground tonight?
Yeah, he had a little dropsies there early, but really rallied well, and that says a lot about him and stepping up in that role. And we've seen him do it before, so we expect it again.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Best of luck next week. Let's send it back to Ted and Glenn.
Well, tonight, just the 4th player in the history of the conference to have 2 punt returns in the same game for a touchdown.
What a job it was. The first one is that typical punt return, set it up and go. But the second one was a lot of improv and a lot of guys hustling to make plays down the field to help them out. Really fun to watch. Really, Madison. Holy smokes, went a long way.